Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. This is episode 20. Let me get my notes out. This is take 2 because the other one went an hour and 20 minutes and my camera ran out and I didn't know it. So let me find my notes again. I went over so many different things in my last one that I'm going to skip it and only focus on one thing because it was way too long. Like I said, my camera ran out. I live in New Jersey. My name is Mary Beth, the Jersey Girl Crafts. I live here with my boyfriend, my 4 cats, and 6 outside cats. I'm about 10 minutes away from the beach if you went to Point Pleasant. If you go to Seaside, about 15 minutes maybe. Belmar, Asbury, about a half an hour. So that is me. I want to welcome anyone who's been here before and any new people to my podcast. I want to say thank you for joining me. I'm going to get right into Vogue Knitting Live, which I'm calling Vogue Knitting Virtual, because everything due to Corona has been virtual this year. So I did the Vogue knitting. I was lucky enough to be off that week from work. The Vogue knitting was August 13th through the 16th. And I believe they're having another virtual one in October, I believe. So I might be joining some of the classes there. I just have to wait and see as soon as they come up and take some of the classes I really want to take. 2 of the classes I took, I only took 2 classes, but I saw a lot of lectures. I took a lot of lectures, and the Marketplace Extras, I did that, and I did it again. I did this, and I forgot to write down another store that I visited, so I'll have to look it up when I get to that point and see exactly what store I visited and what is on its way, because something is on its way. Is this it? No, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. There it is. So, I will go into the Etsy store for, of course they're going to do this to me. I have to sign into Etsy. Okay, I'll just leave this up so I can tell you the other store. So, alright, 3 minutes blabbering. Anyhow, let me get into it. So, the classes I took were Cable Ready. It's a workshop with Melissa Leitman right there. And it was all about cables for beginners because I've never done a cable before. Well, I tried one sock on my own and I screwed up so bad that it probably wouldn't fit this bottle, never mind a foot. So I tore that hole out and decided I would not try cables again, although they're beautiful. So I decided this time when Vogue came up, I would take some cable classes. So I took 2 cable classes. So the one with Melissa Leitman was very good. I enjoyed it. It was a really good class with a great bunch of women, and there was a gentleman also that joined. And this was what we made. Now, this is like a rope cable. Beautiful. This is the typical cable that you see. This one was supposed to go one this way and one that. It's a little jacked up. So I did mess up somewhere in here. I was not ripping it out. I'm not a fan of ripping it out because I don't know how to put knitting back on the knitting needles and make them look right. So we did like just a rib at the bottom, which is our homework. And then this was the class. We had a couple of different things, but my male cat Tiger decided to rip out the knitting needles and drag them through the office here. So everything got ripped out. Then the other one, I don't think we did a third. I think we only did 2. But yeah, so that's my little knitting. I am very proud of myself. And I enjoyed her, and I joined her class. She does have stuff on Blueprint, and on her website, melissaleapman.com, and it's Melissa, Leapman, Leapman. She does have classes on her website, and I wound up enjoying it so much that I went on her website and took another class. So I took Fox Brioche from her website. So that was really fun, and we learned how to do this fake brioche, which comes out beautiful. Look at this. So we learned, all we had to do was cast on, do one thing of knit. Somewhere I messed up right here in the beginning, but this is like a brioche, and this is a different style. This was a little messed up. This I did so much better with 2 colors. Some people did 3 colors. I stayed with 2. And then we did the top part where we did this little circly one that looks almost like a cable. I wish I did a few more rounds because it technically would go up here and then V out as you did it, and then you would close it. So this almost looks like a cable. It's really cool. And I was thinking I want to do this but a lot longer. Tell me that wouldn't be a cool fingerless glove. So I have big wrists, but I don't care. No one's fitting in that. So I want to do this all over again, what we practiced in class, and I want to make 2 of them and make fingerless gloves because I think that would be really cool. So that class was a lot of fun too. Great group of women. The women who join her classes seem to have done a lot of classes with her. She had 2 classes that she had up on her website that were right after Vogue Knitting. The one I couldn't take, it was a work day because I do work even with Corona, and so I couldn't take that workshop, but I did really want to do the Fox Brioche. So that I took, and I had a wonderful time. She does have knitting cruises, I found out. So yeah, I definitely want to follow her. I got into her newsletter, and she has a few patterns on Ravelry. I did print off a cowl that actually goes with this class. I didn't print it out though. That sucks. But anyhow, yeah, so that was good. The second class I took was with Denise Byron, and she is so zen, so down to earth, so wonderful. I didn't know anything about her, honestly, but when I was doing the lectures and the Vogue Knitting Extra, the Marketplace Extras, she was in one of the extras, which I will get to later, and I got to know her little personality a little bit, and I couldn't wait to take the class. I thought she was amazing. So I took that on August 16th, and there she is. And it's bayronhandmade.com, which is her website. She has beautiful patterns. She really does. She's got, let me see, I think I have it here. I'm going to try and make, because I believe she's going to, on her website, if you follow her, which you should, Get her newsletter. I believe she's going to possibly do a knit along. It's not a tutorial, but it's a knit along with her moving forward wrap. Look at that wrap. That is beautiful. Now I did realize, here's another picture. I do not have enough yarn for this. It seems pretty beginner friendly. I think she even puts in here somewhere that it's okay for a beginner to do this. So it takes fingering weight yarn, and it takes about 290 yards. And I really don't have one yarn with that much. I could do like a fade type of thing. But I think if I want to make this, I want to make this for my niece. So I have undyed yarns, and I might be doing it in undyed yarn. So that is on my to-do list. And in homework, I think I did so much better with the homework with Denise, and it's, with Denise, because I think taking Melissa's class prior, I kind of had a little more familiarity with it. The one with Melissa, she did show you charts, and she gave you a chart to follow, so it was nice to learn how to do a chart. Denise, we did not have charts, but she gave us little patterns to do. And then I thought I had a picture of her cowl that you could do with this. But you're ready for this homework? This looks so much better than the first class I took with Melissa, because like I said, I think I was a little more comfortable with the cables. Look how much better that came out. Like this is a rope, and I forget what that was, but this one's a little more messed up than this one. And then look how beautiful that cable came out. So yeah, I'm excited to do something with cables. I did print out, and we'll have to see, a hat. And I got this on Blueprint. So I might try and do that hat, because there is a tutorial with it on Blueprint. I am a member of Blueprint. So I think I'm going to try and do this hat because of the cable, and because there's a tutorial that I can follow if I need to. I want to try and do directions first and then do that. So yeah, that was my class with Denise Bayron. Absolutely wonderful. And let me tell you, she's not only a great teacher, her personality and her just Zen type of attitude and personality and voice is just so wonderful to listen to. So that is my classes that I took. Then the lectures was, and I don't remember who did the lectures. Honestly, it was awful. I didn't write these things down. From Bamboo to You, how different yarns affect different finishes. So she went over different yarns and how they would affect, like if you were making a sweater out of like a cotton yarn, cotton is a lot heavier than say bamboo. So a bamboo, you're going to have, it doesn't stretch, but you're going to have, the cat is screaming to go out or something. So it's going to drape nicely. If you do a cotton and you have a crop top, it might be a lot heavier than the bamboo, so it might be a little longer than a crop top because it's going to weigh down. So we learned about different stretches and how, like I said, how different yarns affect your product that you're making. So you should try and go with what the designer tells you to if you want that exact drape. If you don't have that yarn or don't have access to it, try and email the maker and ask them, or the designer, and ask them, what would you suggest as a good yarn that I could use that would have about the same drape? So they might help you like that. I mean, from what I see from the podcast, from designers I watch, they're really, really nice like that, and they will help you because they want you to do their product. Like, they took all that time for the design. They knit it or crocheted it. They wrote it up. They had it tested. They had it tech edited, and then they put it out there for you. They want you to have a good product. They want, they took pride in what they did, so they want your product to come out good. So I don't see why they wouldn't say, well, a good substitute would be this or that. Or, you know, even if you say my budget isn't that high, I can't really afford, you know, the yarn you're asking me to use. I'm making a sweater. I'm a bigger girl. I need 6 of them. And at $34 US dollars each, that's a lot of money. So ask them. Maybe they can give you a substitute. If they have a podcast, they might even tell you a substitute, or their directions might give you a substitute. But if you're looking through Ravelry, reach out to that designer and say, this is what you're saying to use. I can't afford that. Or I don't have access to that. That yarn is in the UK and the shipping would be tremendous to get here. So I would suggest always reaching out. The next one was Turbo Throwing. I don't remember her. You know, as usual, I did not write those down. That was amazing. I actually learned way back in my 20s from my girlfriend. She learned how to knit from her grandmother. Her grandmother was from Italy. She used the big straight needles, which I learned on the big straight needles. And she had a needle that she used to put under her armpit, and she used to knit that way. And I learned from this class that this turbo throwing, everyone says continental is faster, but if you actually make it on a straight needle under your armpit, the straight needle is coming out of your armpit, and you're pretty much from the needle on this hand pushing and running. You know, you're moving this hand. This hand, all this is doing is turning the yarn because your armpit is holding the other needle. So it was really interesting. It was a little hard for me to get my body to understand that for a while, and I have big boobs, so my boob was kind of in the way a little, but your thumb kind of pushes the needle over as you turn, so you're not getting a cramp in this hand. This hand is not really doing much movement other than pushing it on, taking it off. Like, it was really interesting, and it's definitely something. I'm sure there's something on YouTube for turbo throwing, or using straight needles like under your armpit. So that was a really good lecture. And then the marketplace extras that I did was, and this is where I got to know Denise Bayron a little bit better when I went to this marketplace extra. When you buy for the marketplace, and get to go to all the booths to where the yarn is, you get these extra things. Now, these were stretched like 3 or 4 a day for the 4 days Vogue was on. If I was going to New York, I would take my car to the train station, pay for the train to go up to New York, then go in and see all the booths, and then I wouldn't have access to all those other days because I usually can't go during the week because I work. And if I took a day off of work, I could do that, but I'm still not going to get 4 days. On the virtual, you got all 4 days of this. It was absolutely amazing how much I did. When you got to see the virtual makers, you got to see their yarn. You heard the background stories. If it was someone who owned a farm, you actually got to see the sheep or the alpaca. It was so interesting. It was such a great way to learn about the product and what they put into it and learn their personalities. And I really enjoyed it, and that made me want to buy. If I was in the virtual marketplace, I touch and feel the yarn, and sometimes the more expensive yarns I don't want to do because I have a budget of what I can spend. I don't make a lot of money, so I have a budget. I just spent all that money going into the city from New Jersey to New York, and then my boyfriend last year came with me to Vogue Knitting. So it was he and I on the train, so 2 train tickets. Then he spent money because he went around the city. He got stuff to eat, whatever. And then when I was done with Vogue, or in between stuff, we got lunch. So we spent money on lunch for the 2 of us. And then Vogue Knitting was over and we went to dinner. So we spent money for both of us to eat dinner in a restaurant. So all that money that I spent going into the city, I was able to spend on the vendors. I was able to support them. I was able to buy the kit that was $100 because that was money I didn't have to spend on traveling. So the virtual is so wonderful. It's so exciting because, like I said, you get to know the background. So in this virtual Marketplace Extra, I was able to go to Las Knitting Amigas. It was Denise Bayron who, it was like a knit night. It was 3 girls chatting, basically. Joji Locatelli, which I would probably never be able to see in person, which whenever she teaches, which she's really not teaching in the U.S., especially with Corona, every time she had something, it was further away that I couldn't travel to, or it sells out within 2 minutes because people want to take classes with Joji Locatelli. And then her good friend Vera Oliveira, I think I'm saying her first name right, she was on here, and it was Denise and the 2 of them talking like 3 friends talking about their knitting and how they design, and how Vera took one of her designs and basically thought it here, wrote it down, and sent it out to someone to test it. So she sent it to a friend of hers who sent it back with her notes, and now Vera made it. So you heard how she designs. Then you heard how Joji designs, where she'll do some of it and then write it down. And I know from watching her podcast with her mom, she gets to the part where it's all knitting down the body. She'll hand it over to her mother, and her mother will take over. Like, they tag team it. It's so cute. It's so great. What a great relationship she has with her mother. It's amazing. Let me change my glasses. Sorry. And I have no makeup on today at all. I had a little lip gloss on, but that came off. Let me grab a drink. So you heard her way of designing. Now Denise, she's more of knit a little of this, write it down. Knit a little of that, write it down. So she's like very multitasking while she's designing something. So that was really kind of cool to learn. So that, and I think the marketplace was like an hour. The classes were anywhere from 2 to 6 hours because some of them took up 2 days or 2 sessions. The next Marketplace Extra I saw was Rowan Yarn with Erica Knight, who's a designer, and I believe she worked at Rowan Yarn to come up with ideas with yarn and everything. And she was talking, and her mind is amazing. She's so creative. Her degree in the background is an artist, so she knows colors and she knows how to put things together. And right now she's very into her whites and blacks and grays and the different shades of white. And listening to her mind was like hard to keep up with sometimes, but she was so interesting to watch. So yeah, that was amazing. And then we had another extra, which was Knit in the Pit. Now, Knit in the Pit is out of Asbury Park, New Jersey, in the Asbury Park Hotel, which is a gorgeous, fairly new hotel. The last couple of years it was built. Sorry. This is like the nicest hand cream from Bath and Body Works. And my hands are so dry. So this is out of Asbury, and I've heard about it, and I could get there easily and do a Knit in the Pit. Not with Corona, but in the past I probably could have. I never have. I don't like going anywhere by myself. I would like to have someone with me. Even some of the knit shops, they have like knit nights in Frame and Fiber in Pennsylvania, in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. They have a knit night where in the summers they go to the beach and they sit on the beach with their glass of wine if you want, because it's nighttime, and their beach chairs, and they sit on the beach and they knit. So that's really cool. I would like to do that. I was planning on doing it this year, but Corona. So John Griswold is, I think that's how you say his name, Giswold. He was the host, and I believe he's part of the whole Knit in the Pit in Asbury. He had Austin Rivers. Runs a nonprofit out of New York, and he helps the LGBTQ homeless community with handing out knitwear. And I learned through a lot of these lectures and everything that acrylic is a lot warmer. It's very warm. Wool is able to breathe because it's animal material, it's natural, and plastic is warm. So acrylic yarn is warm. So when you give to the homeless, it's a really good product to give because it will keep them warm. So he gets knit and crocheted items and hands them out to the homeless. And the women, a lot of the women or people in his group who do this and donate often, they make little crocheted or knit hearts, and then they tie it on every knit product or crocheted product that they hand out to the homeless, which I think is really cute. They're giving their love in every piece. The second person that was in there is Stacy Weiner. She's the one that started the soap sacks for the homeless, and and I forget who else, but she's a nonprofit and she makes the little soap sacks, and she does have samples of her soap sacks. So she gets together all the soap sacks and she hands them out to the homeless, and I keep dropping stuff. And I think that's a really great thing because I made a soap sack for myself years ago, and it was nice. You put the bar of soap in there, and it's a washcloth, and you could use it over and over again. And as a homeless person, I can only imagine it's really hard to get soap in a washcloth. And do you want to use washcloths that other people have used, So I'm thinking, how cool is that? You get a bar of soap and you put it in one of those, dollar store containers to keep the soap good. And then, your soap was in the soap sack. You're washing up. You put your soap away. Then you take your washcloth and you rinse it out to get the soap out of it. And then you just have to dry it. And you can use the cheap peaches, and not that peaches and cream is cheap, but they're always on sale for like $1. So you can make a couple of them out of one of those. I have the big cones that I gotten from Premier Yarn at one time, so I can make a lot of them. So yeah, I thought it was cool. And if you can make it a little bit bigger, you can make a mitt, so people have a mitt. So if all they could do is go into a bathroom and wash their face up and their armpits and everything else, the important spots, it's really great. So it's a wonderful thing, and Stacy Weiner is her name. Look her up and definitely donate. It's definitely a good idea to do. The other one he had on there was, and I've heard of him the last few years, Jonah Larson. Jonah Larson is Jonah Hands, nonprofit, and he's a 12-year-old crochet genius. From what I understand, he was about 7 when he was going through his aunt's stuff or whatever to get rid of, and he found a crochet hook and some yarn, asked his mother. His mother knew what it was, but she didn't crochet, so he was allowed to take it home. He went on YouTube and he learned how to do crochet, and he's fast. Through this whole lecture, he crocheted the whole time, and it was amazing to watch him. My eyes were like glued. So yeah, that was really cool. He's from Ethiopia, but he was adopted at a very, very young age to a couple in the U.S., and he started up libraries for Ethiopia, from where he's from. He is doing a science lab or something. If you go on jonahhands.com, I believe it is, you can definitely go into his nonprofit and you can buy his books. I actually bought a book. I don't have it yet, but you can buy his books, and profits from the books actually go to these places that he's doing. He's amazing. Really, if you have a chance to watch him, he does have his own YouTube channel, and from there it'll link to his store. So definitely take a look at that. So that was Knit in the Pit. That was amazing. Then we got the Making Life with Melanie Flick. She's making a book of making, like knitting, crochet, rug making, like pottery, and she went all over the world, and she showed pictures of every place she went while she got this book together. It was so interesting to see everything and how people make things in different parts of the world. So it was all about her travels and stuff, which was really cool. And that was the marketplace extras I took. I have a feeling there were more, and I just don't remember because I took one thing after another. Let me get what dropped off the floor, because that's the next thing I want to talk about. Tiger's behind me on the floor, being quiet, so I have to be very careful with what I do as not to wake him, because he will start screaming and want to come up here. He comes up on my desk when I'm not here, and he sits on the keyboard. I come into I don't even know where he went or what he did. I actually left the room. He jumped on. My desk is here. My boyfriend's desk is right in front of me, and I see his back when he works. So the cat jumped on the keyboard and started my YouTube video. Scared the hell out of my boyfriend. He's like, what the hell? So anyhow, that's the boy. So the marketplace, I have 11 written down, but actually 12, because I see something over here on my laptop that I looked for a few minutes ago that I bought from. That I can't show you. I can only tell you the information. I bought something from, oh, and by the way, like I said, the virtual, amazing. You get to learn about these people. I bought something from the Wandering Flock. Oh, maybe I did write that down. I did write that down. I just didn't. I wrote everything down, but then I went under it with a pen. The ones that I actually ordered from. All right, so there's 11 that stood out. So the first one is the Wandering Flock, and I don't remember much of the Wandering Flock, but I really like the yarn. So I did order one. It's a hand-dyed merino mohair, and it's called Birthday Ice Cream. So it's like white with pink and blue and everything. It looks like, honestly, it looks like cotton candy. You ever have the cotton candy with the pink and the blue and the white and it's swirled in there? I used to get it from AC Moore, which was our local yarn, boxed arts and crafts store. I used to get a tub of this, and the cotton candy was there. Or I would go to the boardwalk when I was younger and get cotton candy, and it reminds me of cotton candy. And then I got a merino worsted weight yarn, which was called Lichen. So I can't wait to get them. I think they're in the mail, and I should get them Monday. Jonah Hand, I did order from him, and that's in the mail, and I believe my notification said Monday. A lot of my stuff that I ordered is going to be Monday or Tuesday that it's going to come in. So I have to wait. So next podcast I can show you them. So the first thing I bought in the very first virtual I saw in the marketplace was Taukins by Taukins by by. Oh God, I am so dry. This is the second time doing this podcast. Crystal Light iced tea as usual. So it's, will it focus? I think it's focusing. There we go. So I ordered from her. She is from Belarus, which is, I found out, near Russia and Poland. She has stitch markers and bags and a whole bunch of things, and really nice stuff. I'm missing something. I am. I'm missing something from this. It must have fallen on the ground. Shoot. Now I have to look for it. I hope the cat didn't eat it. Alright, I'll have to search when I'm done. But this is a stitch marker. And it starts at 0. Whoops. It starts at 0. Focus. And then you have all the numbers. And what you do is, I don't have any knitting needles. Anyhow, you know how to knit and move a stitch marker. So you have 0. Then you have 1 and 2. And you go all the way to 9. Now, there's your 9 rows. You're going to start row 10. So you're going to bring the 0 back up to your next row. And there's a little, this is going to drive me crazy. I'm going to have to find it. There's a little matching lobster claw that you put on here. So that marks you're on row 10. 11, 12, 13. You get it? Up to 19. Then what you're going to do is you're going to hook your lobster click on number 2. So when you start here, you're on 20, 21, 22. Well, actually from 10 you go to 11. So you do, here's your 10 to 19. Then you put it on here to 29. Then you go up to the number 3 and you hit the little lobster clip on. So smart. So you're always remembering that you're on row 20, row 30, and you could go up to row 99. And then if you have another lobster clip, I would say at 100, you always keep it on 0. And then you go 1. So there's your 100. And then your 120, 130. So really, really cool. soon as I saw them, I was like, that's it. They have to come home. So I did get 2 of them. I got one in silver that had hearts. And then I got one in gold that has a little dolphin. So I got 2 of those. And then I bought this little donut, which I thought was cute. And then I bought another little stitch marker, which I was hoping the lobster claw one was in here, but it's not. And then I got this one, which is a little fish. My hands look jacked up, don't they? So that's what I bought from Towkins Buy. She's got an Etsy store. And the next one, which really caught my eye, but I did not buy anything because they're out of Pennsylvania. And as soon as we are allowed out for Corona, New Jersey has a list of places we're not allowed to go. And I believe Pennsylvania is on that list. Because if we do, we have to come home and quarantine ourselves for 14 days. I don't want to quarantine myself for 14 days because I do have to get to the office. So it's called Flying Fibers. It's a mother and daughter team. They have a farm. They showed you, which was so much fun, their sheep, their alpaca. They tell you how they make their yarn. They get from the UK some blue face luster and have it shipped over. And then there's somewhere in Pennsylvania that they have it wound with their yarn. And we learned, I learned that the sheep can only be sheared once every 9 months, I believe they said. So if you have 6 sheep, every 9 months is only what you can shear them. So that doesn't give you a lot of yarn, or a lot of fleece to make the yarn. So it was kind of interesting listening to this and how they do it and why they might mix it with another product. They have alpaca, so they'll mix it with some of their alpaca. So that was really interesting, and I plan on visiting their shop. Then there was Knitting Companion app. That was amazing. I can't even show you because it's on my phone. Wait. It's on my tablet, but I don't know where I put that. Anyhow, Knitting Companion is an app, and there is a free version, a paid version, and they had classes for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So they had 3 different classes on this, and this was part of the marketplace. So this is if you went into a booth in Vogue Live, you would go into the booth and you would talk to the person, or maybe the person was busy talking, and you'd probably walk out of the booth not knowing what this does. So that was really, really cool because I could listen and we could ask questions. So she could be telling 20, 60 of us. I mean, at times I saw some of the booths with like 60 people, 70 people in it, 100 people in it. And you're watching this person for an hour explain their product. So I actually did download that, and I plan on using it. And if I feel like I want to pay for the other one, which I believe is like, don't quote me, but I think it's $9.99 a month, maybe, or a year. I don't remember, but you could get the other version. So that was really cool. Very Pink Knits, Stacy something. She actually has a YouTube channel, and you can go into hers, and she does go over the Knit Companion. She explains it really well, because I did happen to go into hers and look at that. And living in my corner of craft bag, this has become my new place to keep things for the podcast. I don't touch anything. I don't use it. As soon as it comes in, it goes in my bag. So, July Yarn Club and Stitch Marker Club for Corner of Craft, and we might as well start with this. get off Vogue Knitting for 1 second. My July stitch marker got lost. It finally arrived a month later, and this was the July stitch marker. Tell me that's not cute. She makes the cutest beaded stitch markers. And yes, I joined August. And if I can get into every single month, I will. I got her yarn and her stitch markers. So I ordered from, the next place was Zen Garden. I did get Zen Garden yarn last year from Vogue Knitting, and it was called the Met. It was very good. I bought a kit. I actually spent the money and bought a kit. And it probably will not go on the needles for a while because I think I need a lot more practice at knitting, especially sweaters. This is the Stay-at-Home Sweater by Zen Garden. And you really can't see the colors in here, but I bought the same colors as what's in the sweater. It's very inclusive, extremely inclusive. It fits, starting with the small, it fits a, where did I say it? Oh, it's on the back. Size inclusive, it goes from an extra small to a 4X. You could go from a 31 bust to a 59, but there's definitely room in there because even though it fits a 31 bust, the finished bust is 34, and the biggest size is a 59 bust if you measure that, and it goes to a 62. So I'm not going to show you really, well, there's really nothing to show you on here except the gauge. So here's the sizes. If you're interested in the sweater, it's a gorgeous sweater. But again, I think I need, because it looks like you do all here and then you pick up stitches for the band. I've never done pick up stitches, so I will have to wait on that one. So I got this beautiful yarn. Look how gorgeous. Is that not beautiful? Look at those colors. Purples and blues and grays. Little pinky color. And this is called, it's Nightshade Fingering, 100% superwash merino. Approximately 400 yards, 365 meter. And the name is Patience, because I need patience. I am one who wants it done yesterday. I want to know how to do it, and I'm very hard on myself thinking I should already know how to do it. You can't know how to do something immediately if you've never been shown how to do it. So I get pissy with myself. So this kit, because I ordered the 3X, I believe, I think it came with 6. Not going to show you all of them because they're all in the bag. So that was Zen Gardens. And then I got beautiful yarn from Cowgirl Blues. Now, Cowgirl Blues is based out of Cape Town, South Africa. And because it was virtual, I learned all about the company. And it's a woman-run company from Cape Town. And she showed all the women and how they make the yarn and all the beauty of this yarn. Now, this I've never bought before, and I've wanted to try. Look at this mohair. Look at that. It is so soft. And again, it's Cowgirl Blues. Fluffy mohair. And there's 100 grams of it. It's 78 mohair, 13 wool, and 9 nylon. Talk about soft and gorgeous coloring. The color is, all right, I know I saw the color. Oh, the color is 9 to 5. It's music. And then I bought an Aran single, 100 grams, 20 mohair, 80 wool. Look at how beautiful. It's a little lighter than what it really is. But it's about that. But it's beautiful. And look at the halo. And it's soft. I've never worked with mohair. I want to. This is probably going to be a nice hat. And then this, I don't know. We'll go with something. Don't know. I just wanted to touch it. We're going on 50 minutes. I didn't expect it to go this long. Then she sent a little thing of minis, which I'm honestly running out of time. I'll show you really fast. She wrapped it up in this little tissue paper with one of her, the same as this. And when she sent it to me, she sent everything in the same color as this. So you kind of see the same color in different yarns. So this is her merino lace single. Very pretty. This is the merino twist. This is a gorgeous twist. Really pretty. Look at that. My palm hurts so bad. And I think it's from an itchier yarn that I used. And it's giving me a callus. It's awful. I never had a callus. This is her Aran single, which that's what I bought. And then she has a kid silk semi-solid. Again, the same colorway, and the differences between them because of the fabric. And then this is the merino DK. Very, very pretty. So it's nice she gives you an idea of all the different yarns she has, which is really cool. And you kind of get to see the different coloring on them. So if you wanted to match, say, the Aran with another fabric, you know the coloring is either going to be very similar or, you know, a little darker, a little lighter. So that is everything I bought from Vogue. I did very well. I didn't, whoops, I hit the camera. I did not buy too much. Morehouse yarn. I don't think I bought from them, but it's on my list of who I want to visit. My Yak. Now that looked like beautiful yarn, and I'm looking forward to buying from them. Their yarn is out of Tibet, and it's ethical and sustainable yarn. And they showed, again, virtual, I love it, an hour to learn about a product. But they showed the yak, and it's not sheared like sheep. It's actually almost like a brush you would have for your dog or your cat. And they take the whole underlayer of fleece, fur, and that's how they make the yak yarn. It was really interesting. So the Tibetan people make it, and it's sent to Italy where they spin it. So that was very interesting to learn. Number 10 is at Haynes House Yarn, and their description on their website, as well as the description in Vogue, was it's a Black-owned, family-run business. They have bags, they have yarn. Their website is very friendly, user-friendly. I believe it's a brother and sister, I want to say. I don't think it's a husband and wife. I believe it's brother and sister. And they make these products, and their yarn is beautiful. They hand dye the yarn. And he actually makes the bags. He sews them and they're beautiful. I actually got a bag and 2 things of yarn, which should be here again Monday or Tuesday. And then number 11 is the Long Island yarn. She caught my eye and I do want to visit her in the future. And possibly get something from her because her yarn looked beautiful and I like the way she presented it. So that was my Vogue Knitting Virtual. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. I have to save up money because I definitely want to take more classes. I may not, if some of these shops are in the next one, I definitely will buy some stuff from the shops I wanted to. If not, hopefully there's new shops that I haven't seen. I'm saying I'm a lot because I'm trying to get everything in and it's almost an hour. It's 56 minutes and I definitely don't want to go over an hour right now. So yeah, I want to do this in October. I want to see what classes. As of right now, I didn't see any classes listed, but I'm definitely going to do this again. If you're interested in virtual learning, Melissa Leapman definitely has classes on her website. I believe Denise Bayron is going to have classes as well. And then, Stitches United events. They have I believe it's Stitches United at home. They're going to be doing it. And Lewis, who is the Brooklyn Boy Knits, he's going to be doing a class, which looks amazing. I saw it on there and I saw it on his Instagram where your homework is getting a denim shirt or jacket and it looks like you're going to knit onto it, which really sounds fun. There's other classes and some of the classes like that one, it's not just where you do a sample, it's a product class. So some of the classes are Saturday for like 2 or 3 hours, then Sunday for 2 or 3 hours, and then some of them continue the next Saturday and Sunday for 2 to 3 hours. So you have basically how to do it, and you start it, and then Sunday you go back to class and you do something else, and then you have a week to get your homework done to get to a certain part, and then you start up again. So that looks so interesting. I mean, I definitely want to do, there's a color work class I was thinking of doing. Now these classes are a little bit more than Vogue was. These classes run anywhere from like 150 to 260 depending on what you're taking. So it's definitely an investment, but you're getting like 10 hours or more. Sorry, I got some mohair on my nose. You're getting 10 hours or more of class with a professional teacher, which is virtual, where you could ask and it's right there on the camera where it's up close. So I love these virtual classes and I plan on taking as many as I can because I'm enjoying them and I think I'm learning a lot more being in this environment rather than if I went to Vogue Live. And I did go to Vogue Live and I took Mina Phillip class and I thought it was wonderful and she was such a good teacher. But I felt like if it was virtual, I don't know, it seems like more of a one-on-one because it's right there in front of your face, and if you want to ask a question you can, where the teacher normally is in front of the class and then will walk around and help people. It's a little harder helping people because I know when I dropped stitches and I held it up to the camera, it's harder for them the teachers to guide you to what you need to do. But I know with Melissa and with Denise, they purposely dropped a stitch so that you could see how to pick it up. So definitely the virtual classes are a way to go for me. I feel like I came out with so much more than the ones I've done live, and I've done only 2 live. I took Denise, forgot her name. Earth Tones girl. I took her sock knitting class when she was in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and it was wonderful. And it was a small class in a very small area, so she wasn't in front of the room. She was right with us. But even she said it's hard teaching that many people at once. And I just think the virtual is the way to go. Anyhow, I want to thank you for joining me. My voice is starting to go because this is the second time I've done this, and the other one was an hour and 20 minutes. This is an hour now, and I didn't want it to go this long. But thank you for joining me, and I hope you join me again. As things come in, I will put it in my corner of craft bag, which usually hangs up right here behind me on the hook, and you will see everything that comes in. Hopefully next week I'll have another podcast because I will have new stuff coming in. My mother's flax sweater is still not done because I picked up other stuff, but the socks are done for my niece. So I will show you next weekend. Hopefully my mother's sweater will be further along. I will show you next weekend everything I've been up to. Thank you very much again for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Stay safe and be good to each other, please. Trying times, we need to keep our patience, and we need to actually have patience. We don't want to be a patient. We want to have patience. And we want to be good to each other. We only have one life. And we only have one world. And we have to take care of it together. And we have to take care of each other. Thank you.